Good morning, everyone. Hope this video finds you very well on this Thursday morning of May 21st. All right, we're almost near the end, and like I said, this is our final unit, this data analysis unit. And in this video, I'm going to take you through an outline of what is expected of you and your partner in your presentations. So all the details will be given in this particular video, including the dates and the time that you're required, and all that is required of you, and any bonus stuff that you might want to throw in will be presented to you in this presentation. Remember I said that in this particular unit, there's not going to be a quiz or a final exam. Think of this as your unit exam. This presentation is your unit exam. So you and your partner work together, of course. And please take it very seriously, and this is going to be a great presentation. There's going to be a lot put into it. Now, fortunately, all next week, literally all next week, we will be working on it in class, outside of class. So there won't be any other ALEKS or any other assignments all next week, except for working on this presentation with your partner. So while what I'm about to show you is going to be a lot of work, you're going to have a lot of time to work on it, including if you and your partner want to start working on it this weekend, this long Memorial Day weekend, you're more than welcome to. But I can assure you, ample amount of time in class and outside of class will be given, and the presentation will not be until June 1st and 2nd. That is after next week, okay? So we'll have all next week to work on it. So, like I said, what I'm about to show you, kind of a lot, but hey, you got time and you and your partner are going to work hard. This could be one of the most powerful and interesting presentations you've given so far in your academic career. All right, so here goes. The first thing you want to do to make sure that you're ready to put together your presentation is go into your state's particular spreadsheet. Make sure you got all the things that we've been talking about, okay? We're not adding anything more. We added the last few elements yesterday, the line of best fit, the equation. Now, of course, you still have time to include those things or improve upon any chart that you may have made in the past, of course. But you want to make sure you have all your data inserted up to the 22nd, which is coming up this Monday. Now, of course, I don't have it yet because the 20th, 21st, and 22nd haven't occurred yet, okay? But you want to have your bar graphs all ready to go. Don't forget titles and X and Y axis labels for both of them. Same with your Box-and-Whisker plots. You want your titles and only your Y axis label. The X axis is not very interesting in this case. Now, one thing you can also do that I know some people noticed, and it's a really cool feature for these box and whisker plots, is if you click on it and you go to the design, you can go to add chart element, and the data labels also work. You can put the data labels however you want and put them to the right. So now I can clearly see my lower and upper quartiles, and my extremes, and even my median right there at 22. So that's really convenient. So that way Excel can do it for you. You don't have to sift through the data and find a 5-number summary. So feel free to include that, of course, in your Box-and-Whisker plots. And if you need help with that, please let me know. And then also, please make sure you have both of your scatter plots with your line of best fit and your line of best fit equation clearly on it. And once all of that is set and ready to go, you're ready to begin putting together your presentation. So let me take you through that real quick. All right, so this is the COVID-19 data analysis presentation. Your title slide, of course, is going to be your names presented by your group members, first and last names. Always put first and last names. And then tell us what your state is. What state were you assigned? Okay, so this presentation, it's going to report your findings and conclusions regarding the new and total cases of the COVID-19 in your assigned state based on the data displays created in Excel. In the end, you're going to be informing us, the viewer, and your fellow students, based on your findings, is the current pandemic improving or worsening in your assigned state, and that's going to be the end. So the finer details are as follows. The presentations will occur Monday, June 1st and Tuesday, June 2nd. Okay, that is not this Monday and this Tuesday. That's a week from this Monday and a week from this Tuesday. Please keep your presentations to 4 minutes or less. Okay? You're going to have to summarize a lot in your talking. The order of the presentations will be completely random. I'm just going to draw them out of a hat. Okay? Thus, you must come to both classes. So if you present on Monday, please, you must also come on Tuesday. Just because you're done, I do want you to see the other presentations. Okay? Attendance will be taken on Monday and Tuesday, and it will be considered in this project, okay? So your final grade will also take into consideration, did you come both Monday and Tuesday? You'll also be evaluating your partner based on their share of work and contribution to this project, as we've done in the past with any projects. You always evaluate your partner. Did they do a good job? Did they not contribute? Did you do all the work? Did they do all the work? And be honest. I will be the only one who sees these evaluations. Make your presentation stand out, okay? You don't have to do, I'm about to show you kind of a very vanilla, very dull kind of presentation, but I want you to make it stand out. Color, font size, slide transitions and animations, slide formats and designs, pictures and graphics, go ahead. Add it all as long as it makes it pop, make it stands out, make it look awesome, okay? Your first part is going to be your new cases bar graph. And you're going to copy and paste your COVID-19 new cases bar graph from Excel, already made, right here in the center, okay? Again, make sure the title and the X and Y axis are labeled. And based on this bar graph, you and your partner are going to discuss and tell us, why did the days with the highest COVID-19 cases have such high numbers? You're going to research and explain what was or not occurring in your assigned state at that time. And any sources that you research from, online or otherwise, you're going to have to cite on the final slide. All right, I'll show you how to do that. And then why did the days with the lowest COVID-19 cases have such low numbers? And again, research and explain what was or was not occurring on those particular days at that time in your state. And you'll help to cite your sources as well. All right, so that's pretty standard. We kind of answered those questions in OneNote a few days ago. Part 2 is going to be your total cases bar graph. Same thing, insert the total cases bar graph here with the X and Y axis and the title. Now here, how would you describe the growth or lack thereof of this graph? And you and your partner are going to address the question, is there a possibility this graph could be misleading about the situation? Explain why or why not. Part 3 is going to be your new cases box and whisker plot. You're going to insert that one right here in the middle. Remember, the title and the y-axis needs to be labeled. Okay, so now some real number crunching comes in here. Please tell us the highest number of new cases, the lowest number of new cases. How much did the daily number of cases vary? And to answer that question, you calculate the range, right? What was the variance? And then tell us the interquartile range. And then, based on your box and whisker plot, and what we know and what we learned about box and whisker plots, answer these questions. 25% of the days had less than, insert your number here of new cases. So how many days, 25% of the days had less than this many number of cases. And you're going to figure that out based on your box and whisker plots. And if you do your box and whisker plot accurately, that number will be displayed right on the box and whisker plot. You won't need to recalculate it. Remember, a box and whisker plot divides the data into 4 quartiles. So if you need to review what quartiles are and how they relate to these percentages, please let me know. Feel free to look back in your guided notes. And then 50% of the days had less than, insert the number here, of new cases, and 75% of the days had less than, insert your number here, of new cases. And all of this can be found right there just by looking at the box and whisker plot. No need to recalculate. And then part 4 is the total cases box and whisker plot. Okay, now this one's interesting. You're going to put 2 box and whisker plots here. One of them is going to be your own total cases from your state. Another one, you're going to ask another group, okay? It could be any group. Can I borrow your total cases box and whisker plot? And you're going to insert it here next to it. So you're going to have 2 box and whisker plots right next to each other. One of your state and one of another group's state. It could be any group, okay? Any group. Make sure that your title and y-axis is labeled, and please make sure theirs is as well. But in their box and whisker plot, please also state their names, the group's name, and the state's name. Okay, so we know who this one was coming from. And for each of them, you're going to find the 5-number summary of your state and the other state. You're going to calculate the range of your state and the other state, and the interquartile range of your state and the other state. And based on this information, you're going to address the questions in your presentation. Which state, yours or the other, has more variability in its total cases? And how could you tell based on the box and whisker plots? And why do you think this was so? Like, what was going on or not going on in the state with the higher variability? It could be your state, it could be the other person's state. It depends on which states are being compared. And then part 5, your new cases scatter plot. Okay, so you're going to put in your new cases scatter plot. Title, X and Y axis labeled, and the line of best fit inserted, please. Yes. So down here in your presentation, you're going to tell us what is the line of best fit equation. Remember, Excel got that for you. And tell us what x represents in the equation, what y represents in the equation. And then it's time to do some math. In other words, if this trend in new cases continues, the number of new cases on the following holidays will occur in 2020. So using the line of best fit equation, calculate how many new cases there might be on Independence Day of 2020, on Halloween, on Christmas, all in 2020. Okay, we're not going to the next year because, hopefully this doesn't continue into 2021. Oh, can you imagine? And you're going to do something similar for the next part, the total cases scatter plot, which is part 6. You're going to insert your total cases scatter plot right here in the center. Title, x and y axis, label, line of best fit, all that stuff. Tell us the new line of best fit equation for the total cases. X represents, y represents. And then if this trend in total cases continues, the number of total cases on the following holidays will occur in 2020. On Labor Day, Thanksgiving, on New Year's Eve, okay? New Year's Eve, not New Year's Day, okay? New Year's Day is in 2021. I want New Year's Eve, right? December 31st. And then if you want to go for the bonus, tell us how many total cases there would be on National Pet Fire Safety Day, National Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day, that's an actual day, and National Clean Out Your Fridge Day. Those are actual days, national holidays. And then choose one more obscure holiday of your choosing. So this part here, this is optional. If you want to give us the numbers for those particular days, go right ahead. It's optional bonus. But you are required to tell us on Labor Day, Thanksgiving, and New Year's Eve for total cases. And then another optional bonus part. Part 7.5. Okay? Show how the line of best fit is calculated using the least squares regression method for your new cases scatter plot. All calculations, charts, work, all must be displayed here. Okay, and you can do 2 slides if you need to display all your data on 2 slides. You might remember I mentioned this briefly in class yesterday, that there's many ways to calculate slope and many ways to calculate the y-intercept. Well, one way is using something called the least squares regression method. And slope is calculated using this formula. And y-intercept is calculated using this formula. I'm more than welcome to help you with this if you choose to put this part in. Remember, this is a bonus part. It is optional. And calculating using least squares regression with the number of data and number of points we have, it's quite the process. I'm telling you right now. So please decide with your partner if you do want to include this, and if so, you are welcome to work on it, do some research, figure out how to do it. I am more than welcome to help you as well. And then part 8, outliers. Show how any outliers in your data are calculated and identified. Again, all calculations and work must be displayed here on this slide. We'll be talking about outliers on Tuesday and how to calculate them. It's not a difficult calculation, but here's a small little preview. An outlier, which I know some of you already know, but maybe you don't know how to calculate them. An outlier is just something a data point that doesn't follow the data trend. Like for example, in this scatter plot right here, you got all these little data points here following a nice trend line. You can clearly see it, but then you got this one little point up here, the little rogue number. It's like, I'm not following your crowd. That's called an outlier, okay? How can you identify them? Well, you can clearly see it's just really not part of the crowd, all right? Yeah, it's kind of that data point that says, no, I'm not going with the mainstream. I'm doing my own thing. Now, the nice thing is about Excel. Excel also identified any outliers for you. Where? Specifically in your box and whisker plot. Yeah, it did. Here's my box and whisker plot for the new cases in West Virginia. See, I've got my nice normal box and whisker plot here. So my whisker, my 2 boxes, my other whisker. But then, and you might have noticed this on your own as well, I have 2 little points just kind of hanging out here, not really within the box and whisker plot. Those are my 2 outliers. So my particular data had 2 outliers. I'm going to show you how Excel determined that those are outliers. Again, the calculation is not crazy long or even difficult, but I'm going to show you how to calculate it, and you'll show me how you calculated your outliers in this slide right here. Okay? Good. We're almost done, folks. Your final part is the conclusion, okay? You're going to address 2 questions. Of the 6 graphs, which do you feel gave the most accurate description of your assigned state's pandemic. Which of the 6 do you think really painted the picture the best of your state's current situation in the COVID-19 pandemic? And please explain why. It doesn't have to be a long explanation, just tell us why. And then based on your data, your graphs, and your research, in your opinion, okay, and this is in your opinion, is your state's pandemic situation improving or is it worsening? Please explain why. Again, this is your opinion based on everything you have researched. Now, you and your partner's opinions don't even have to match. You could say, well, I feel this way because blah, blah, blah. And then your partner can say, well, I kind of feel differently because of this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you don't have to agree on this part. If you each have a different opinion, state that. If you both have the same opinion, great, state that. Now, you might remember I said you also have to cite your sources. So you'll do that on the final part here. You're just going to put a little part here that says sources of data, and you're just going to insert the link of all the sources that you use. That way, if somebody looks at your data, looks at your presentation, they want to know more information, they can just click the link and it'll bring them to the article that you researched. And also at the end here, feel free to include any final thoughts or observations, opinions, or even messages you may have at this point in your presentation about COVID-19, the pandemic, anything, as long as it's school appropriate, of course. You guys know what that means. So here at the end, you can insert any last minute, like, guys, I just want to say this. This is my opinion, or this is a final thought, or observation, or hey, this was interesting. Anything you want to include, you may do so at the end here. And that's your presentation, folks, okay? So, as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts to this presentation, but as I said, you'll have all of next week to be working on this. No Alex assignments, nothing next week. Your only homework next week is to make this presentation the best it could possibly be with you and your partner working together, okay? I really want you to make this presentation special. If you really desire, it can be used in your digital portfolios that you will be putting together at the end of the school year. This could be a really great presentation that not only can you learn a lot from, but the information you present to the others in class, they can learn a lot from. And hopefully we will all understand where the country is right now during this global pandemic. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me today, tomorrow, over the weekend. Feel free to email or use Teams. I'm available to speak to you, of course. Now, like I said, next week we'll be really hitting hardcore, putting together this presentation, but you are more than welcome to, you and your partner, if you want to get together for just a few moments, today, tomorrow, over the weekend, and just maybe kind of like sketch an outline, like what format you're going to use for your presentation. That would give you a really good start, because remember, like I said, you want to make your presentation stand out. So if you and your partner want to decide, like, okay, what colors are we going to use, what font size, what slide transitions, animations, pictures and graphics, you can start to put together your presentation now, just with kind of like the skeleton, you know. It doesn't have to have all the data and all that stuff in there. You can start that, of course, if you want, but we'll be hitting that over the weekend. But if you get kind of a good start on it now, I think that'll just get the ball rolling for you and your partner and just make work easier for you next week. That would be my suggestion, to begin putting together like a skeleton of your presentation. You are more than welcome to use PowerPoint. I know there's a very popular presentation application, but there are others out there as well. If you like to use Numbers, that's a Mac version of presentation. Oh, excuse me, not Numbers. Sorry, what's it called? I can't remember. If you'd like to use the Apple version of PowerPoint, you're more than welcome to, of course. Or there's also other online applications that allow you to give presentations. You are not, I repeat, you are not required to use PowerPoint. Any presentation software that you've used in the past that you like, you're more than welcome to. But if you like PowerPoint, go right ahead and use it. I know it's pretty much the industry standard at this point. All right, guys, that's that. I hope to hear from you today. This is the end. Feel free to start working. All right, and again, it's YouTube, so I gotta say, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You guys know the drill. Hope you have a great Thursday. Hope to hear from you.